What's up, everyone? It's Chicks in the Office with Rhea and Fran, giving you that Friday energy on a Monday or Tuesday, depending on when you're listening to this. Confusing day of the week. A little bit of a delay because Francesca and I are both battling sickness right now, but we are on the up and up. And this podcast is presented to you by Pepsi Wild Cherry. The sweet and delicious flavor of Pepsi Wild Cherry is available in zero sugar as well. And it helps bring out the wild side, whether that is opting for a solo night in, enjoying a little dance party in your living room, meeting friends for an early night out. You can indulge in your wild side with Pepsi Wild Cherry. It's bold, it's refreshing, and it's bursting with delicious cherry flavor. Fran, do you have a wild moment from this weekend, or do we have a similar wild moment from this weekend?
I mean, I imagine we have a similar wild moment, considering our wild moment probably came Friday night. The rest of our weekends were arguably sat. Like we just were immobile. Because like you said, we have been battling quite the cold I don't even know what the hell it is. Sinus infection. I don't know what we're just not feeling great. But Friday in Columbus, the show itself was fantastic and probably one of the most wild moments we will ever experience was having a couple a man proposed on stage to his girlfriend at our show in Columbus. She said yes, thank God.
Thank
Thank God.
God.
But that was pretty wild. So congrats to Brooke and Lorenzo. I hope you guys
Yes.
are listening. They're getting married. She
Yeah.
said yes.
She
And
said
it
yes.
happened right in front of us.
Congrats to them. That was wild. So that we have a combined wild moment for the weekend. It had to be that. So right now, go get your Pepsi Wild Cherry and get wild with us. Get wild with Brooke and Lorenzo and celebrate with them and their engagement. Both shows, Austin and Ohio, were so
So
awesome.
fun.
They were so much fun. Wednesday night, we were in Austin, Texas. We had Christy Carlson Romano and Annalisa Vanderpool as our special guests. And the crowd was insane. Like everything about it was just perfect mixture. And then Friday, Columbus, we had Matt James and Rachel Kirkconnell. They were awesome. And the crowd in Columbus, they were as great as expected. They lived up to the hype. We met so many fantastic people, especially the meet and greet when we get to talk to people a little bit more and hear other people share their stories. It's always really inspiring to hear what people say, like, listening to this show gets me through hard times. It gives me a positive outlook. Even when you guys are talking shit, I'm like, let's go. Let's talk some shit. Somebody said that to us too. So it's always such a great and overwhelming feeling. And both shows were just fantastic. Like, can't thank you guys enough for showing up in both places and giving us the best crowds that we can imagine. And now we we battle sickness. We are battling. I talked about this last week that after Charleston, I felt like something was coming on. Then I saw Austin Kroll
Yeah.
post on his story, who was with us in Charleston, that he was sick. I saw other people saying they were sick, and I was like, oh no, it's coming. And we fought through for both shows.
Yeah.
But Friday after that show, my voice was gone.
Yeah, I mean,
I had,
you were struggling a lot more than I was this week. It really didn't hit me
yeah,
until I got home on Saturday. I was like, whoa. I think the flight fucked up my head, where like
yeah,
if you have a little bit of a cold and then you get on a plane, like Saturday and Sunday, I thought my head was going to explode. Like I really have
yeah,
not felt that sensation before where like any movement I made, like if I went from sitting down to laying down, or like when I showered and I washed my hair and I like flipped my head to put my towel on, like I thought my brain was falling out of my ears. Like I was like,
oh,
it was just pounding. Like it was insane. But I mean, it came in waves. Like your voice on Friday night, like with like 20 minutes left in the show, it's
just
just
cracked.
gone.
I hit puberty
Just
in the
gone.
middle of the show, which I was really thankful. I didn't feel sick during the shows, actually. I actually had a ton of energy during the shows, which was great. I didn't feel sick. And
Yeah.
I think I just suppressed it all. And after the show on Friday, I think it just came pouring out because with, yeah, like you said, 20 minutes with the show left, I started to lose my voice. And then Saturday, I actually just didn't have a voice at all. Like I was trying to
Yeah.
speak and nothing was coming out. And I've never had that happen to me. And I think it was just a mixture of like having an extremely sore throat, cough, and then like projecting your voice. I've never had that happen. So I was uh I was astonished.
I think we got like
I
the it just spread through slowly for some, long
Yeah,
for others. The like uptown social, just
flu.
like
Yeah.
the
I kept I kept making the joke of Danny Tanner in Full House when he gets laryngitis and he can't speak, and then Gia's mom like cures him with whatever, like shoves a spoonful of something in his
yes.
mouth. But yeah, I feel like we're gonna come out on the other side of it. Obviously, this morning was tough for the both of us. But we have a couple days home before we head back out to go to Atlanta. So I feel confident that we're going to be feeling great
Oh yeah,
by Thursday for the show, which
totally.
is
We'll
so
be good to
exciting because
go.
we
It's
have,
just a tough
yeah,
Monday.
yeah, just tough. But we have Heather McMahon, who was at the Oscars doing her thing, which is so cool that she's going to come be a part of our show on Thursday,
I
and we'll get
have
to talk to her all about it.
I have so many questions for her, and questions that I can't wait to ask, like on stage, but also just like when we're hanging, I want to be like, so you were at
Yeah,
the
tell
you went to the Vanity Fair party. Like, how was it?
Right. It's so cool. And I'm so grateful that she's doing our show. Tickets are still
Yeah,
available. If you're thinking about coming to Atlanta, you could still get those tickets. But for this episode, we are going to do a full Oscars recap. And we also are going to do our weekly watch report. And then all other topics we're going to hit for Wednesday's episode. I know everybody wants us to talk about Kate Middleton, but guys, things keep unfolding. Okay.
I
There's one
know.
thing after another. And I think we need to wait it out and talk about it all at once because more and more is happening. We know that the picture was posted. We'll talk about it briefly. We know the picture was posted of her with the three kids, very clearly photoshopped. Then they sent out a kill, like, kill this, do not put it out any further, which in PR terms is like massive. It means like, this is really bad. We have to get rid of this picture. Then Kate Middleton puts out a statement saying she's an amateur photographer who dabbles in Photoshop and the Photoshop went wrong. Like, what the fuck is happening? It's actually getting scary and alarming.
I have so much to say that I don't, if we're
Well,
it's
I want to just give them a little glimpse because I do think more is going to happen. And so I think we're going to save it all to talk about on Wednesday. But I want to acknowledge that we see it
oh yeah.
and I think it's crazy. And
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of smoke and mirrors going on.
Yeah, I don't know I really don't know what's going on over there. Who's running that Instagram, or who's putting things up, who thought that was a good idea. I don't know. I don't know. I clearly, like, they take a little Photoshop much more seriously. AP was like, this is a doctored photo. So yeah, it's crazy. Really, really crazy. Um, and now it's like, then there was like another like, a picture of Will going somewhere with Kate in the car. I don't know. I don't know.
And Kate's facing the other way. Don't worry, guys. I'm headed across the pond in July. And if we don't figure it
Yeah.
out before then, I'll figure it out when I'm boots on the ground.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, no, we have a ton of stuff to talk about uh for Wednesday, just topics wise, other stuff going on. The Oscars have dominated the last couple days, and there's a lot to discuss. I do want to say that this was pretty crazy, and I sometimes I forget when we're like doing the shows and we're talking about it, and then like we don't it doesn't I forget to bring stuff up on the podcast. But the in Columbus, for this proposal, Lorenzo had reached out to the Chicks in the Office Instagram, and we saw it before the show, so we were able to, get ahead of it, and we knew it was coming, and plan a little bit. And he requested for This Is Me from Camp Rock to play after the proposal. We were like, done, easy, like 100%. And then we're in Columbus, and the girls in the front row had a Shane Gray Joe Jonas doll that I like when I saw this doll, I was like, oh my God, is that Joe Jonas? Like, is that Shane Gray? Knowing in my head that this man is about to propose and he wants Camp Rock to play. And I'm like, it's not even Joe Jonas, it's a Shane Gray doll. And it was like such like a whoa moment. We had that doll on stage with us the entire show. Shane Gray, he was a good omen for the proposal for sure. And then, he's gone on to a new home. He went home with a couple. We're like, you guys have to take the doll. Like it's like this is the perfect. I mean, you have to take it. I can't believe he's here. Basically, Joe Jonas witnessed the proposal.
Right. It just was so ironic that this group of girls that had no idea this proposal was happening, that he requested This Is Me, brought this doll. And
Yep.
so we handed it off to them. And then when they were taking pictures after, showing off the ring, he blocked all of the ring shots with the doll. He blocked all of the ring
Not on
shots,
purpose.
not on purpose, but the doll is blocking all of
Yeah.
the ring shots. Um, so they'll have a story forever.
Oh man.
Those two crazy kids, they'll have a good story to tell.
What a wild moment. Also, the pictures are so funny because we told Matt and Rachel that there is a proposal coming at the end of the show. We were like, it's going to happen when you guys are on stage. And Matt just completely, classic boy, like Matt just completely forgot that we told him. Like he just completely forgot. And so the photos are so funny. There's a sequence of like 5 photos where you could just see Matt's face and he's like, what? Like he's freaking out. The three of us are like, we're smiling. We know it's coming. We're like, oh my God, he's doing it. And Matt's like shocked. And we went back after the show and he was like, holy shit, like I forgot he was proposing. Like, oh man. Oh man. Also, classic. I thought I was recording the whole time. I have my phone like this, like in my hand. I thought I was recording the proposal the whole time. Didn't press record. Just didn't. Thank God Matt did. Matt got the best video. The video we posted, Matt took because I thought I was taking a video. And really this is what I captured. That's my if you're watching, you can see it. It's just a blurry photo where you can see
Classic.
nothing. That's all I got.
I
So
I made a
really
Dropbox
did a good
folder
job there.
of all the proposal pictures and like had it sent over to Lorenzo and them. And Sarah was like, wow, like I honestly worked out he got a free photographer out of this. Like, because they're all like these professional pictures of him.
Yeah,
So true.
it did work out. Yeah,
So true.
that was so funny. And awesome. And
But what a moment.
probably a one time only. I
I
don't know.
we've
This
we've
it
had
might
some
become a theme.
we've had some unbelievable endings because honestly, in Austin, Christy Carlson Romano did the she was asked to do the Kim Possible voice. And she did it. And then we played Call Me Beat Me to end the show. And that was like an out of body experience.
I almost cried. I couldn't believe
And
it
like
right in front of me. Impossible.
full blown goosebumps. Also, very funny. Noah just realized on that day that Christy Carlson Romano was Kim Possible. He was like, she's Kim Possible. Like, yes, she is the voice of Kim Possible. She did the voice on stage, which literally sent chills up our spines. Like, we both had goosebumps. And then I said it to the mic. I was like, Noah, you know what to do for the last song. Don't fail me. And he
And
didn't.
well, I'll give Sarah the credit because I turned to
I was
Sarah
going to
being
say, unless it was Sarah.
I was like, what? Like, what is she saying? And she told me the song.
Oh, thank God. Well, thank God for Sarah. Then she knew what I was
Oh,
saying.
thank
It literally
God.
was like, as I was like, if Noah doesn't play Call Me Beat Me right now after she just did the Kim Possible voice to end the show, thank God for Sarah. Um, and every, then we got to sing that song with Christy on stage. So we're really having some real childhood dreams come true right now.
Right. Especially on stage. I don't know how we're going to top the last two, but
I don't know.
listen, we got 3 more shows. A lot can happen. A ton can
Yeah.
happen. I mean, we got Taylor
Yeah.
Lautner coming to one of them. Who knows? Who
I
knows what could
mean,
happen at the end of that one?
truly like the dream scenarios I have in my head for the end of that show.
Anything's possible.
Yeah.
But let's get into the rest of the show. We're going to do an Oscars recap. Listen up, guys. We have news, and you guys are going to be obsessed. And first off, I'm telling you this news in one of my Abercrombie tees. I absolutely love these t-shirts. I live in them. I have them in all different colors, and I think they are the perfect everyday shirt. But huge news coming Abercrombie, they have opened up a wedding shop. It has everything. Tons of dresses, jumpsuits, pants, swimsuits, pajamas, pantsuits, and all perfectly curated for different events. Bachelorettes, brunches, showers, ceremonies as a guest, and even ceremonies as a bride, reception, and your honeymoon. It's incredible. Whether you're attending a wedding, which we are attending a ton of them this year, or hosting your own wedding, which we are also both doing, or you just want to look amazing, you have to check out the Abercrombie Wedding Shop on Abercrombie.com. They had a little setup at our show in Ohio where they put up the dresses that are part of the shop. And I absolutely love them. And I can't wait to get my hands on some dresses to wear to some weddings that I have upcoming this spring. So whether you're attending a wedding or hosting a wedding or just want to look amazing, you have to check out the Abercrombie Wedding Shop on Abercrombie.com. So the Oscars were Sunday night. They started earlier, 7 p.m., still went to almost 11 o'clock. I don't know how they added a fucking hour onto this show, but I guess because they realize it always ends later than 11, that they might as well just start it earlier at 7. I guess
I mean,
that's
it
what
ended
happened
at
there.
10:30. Like it was over by 10:30, which was pretty impressive because I
Oh,
think
I'm so sorry, Oscars apologist. It
no,
was
I mean 10:30 and
almost
11,
11.
10:30 and 11 is a big difference, I think. Like I was over by 10:30. Well, because yeah, they normally start at 8 and they go until like 11:30 a lot of the times.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt like 10:30 the 7 o'clock was a big difference. I hope they keep that. Hopefully everybody got that memo. Noah didn't.
I was like about to get on my exercise bike, like, and then Rhea texted about the monologue, and I'm like, it was like 7:20. I'm like, what? Like, I thought I didn't get the memo. Like, I mean, I don't know where this
uh
was advertised, but like, that's just
Everywhere.
so early for me. I guess even my dad. I mean, my dad like works at ABC, and they're like, what the fuck? Like, how did you not know this? Like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I that's just it was everywhere.
it was advertised, yeah, a lot.
And I'm pretty sure Rhea like brought it up in front of all of
I
us.
did, but if I didn't see that one commercial in our hotel room Thursday night, I would have not known because
Mm,
it was one commercial where Jimmy Kimmel was like, "The Oscars are starting an hour earlier this year," and then I brought it up to everyone and said, "Are the Oscars starting an hour earlier this year?" And then Fran looked it up and she was like, "Oh my God, they are! They're starting at 7." So
yeah.
it was like a whole thing.
And I also
Um,
think because it really threw everybody off because not only did it start an hour early, but we moved the clocks forward Saturday night. So it was like 7 o'clock, but it felt like 6 o'clock. So it really felt like it was starting early.
right, and now I just looked at the time and it's almost 7 o'clock right now, but I thought it was like 5 o'clock. Like I'm,
but
Yeah.
how
sorry, I'm
nice
all
is
over
it
the
now that
place.
it's light out at this
Oh,
hour?
love it.
Thank
I
God.
No, it
love
is
I
so
love
nice,
when
but
it's lighter
honestly,
out.
spring, I love when it's light out at night, but like spring forward really does fuck me up. Like, I don't know what it is. It's just an hour change, but it like fucks me up more than when we move the clocks back,
You
Well,
know
yeah,
who?
because
I think.
you gain, so you're like, "Ooh, there's so
Yeah.
much time in the day."
Right. It's a valuable hour that we lose. I can't
Yeah.
afford to, especially when you're sick. I'm like, I can't afford to lose an hour of sleep right now.
I think that
You know
fucked
who
us
it
up. But
doesn't fuck up? Uh, Dogs, apparently. I was taking care of Murray this weekend. I had to dog sit, and somehow at 5 p.m. he like was like, it's ready for food, which he always gets fed at 5 p.m. But like, how did he know?
oh, so he didn't,
Like
how did
how
he
did he
know that the
know?
clocks changed?
I didn't like I'm like, how do you
That's
know
fun.
still?
That's so funny. Maybe he could read. Maybe he could read the clock.
I don't
Huh.
know.
That's
I gotta ask,
interesting.
I gotta ask my mom if Lola notices, 'cause she also starts to get, she barks at like 3 p.m. every day if if she's like
Yeah.
for her
And I'm
food.
like,
So I wonder
what?
if
Like,
that's changed.
yeah.
Wow, interesting.
Or
As
Maybe
for
Murray's just a genius.
I
could be.
maybe I mean that like food's that important to him, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
As for the Oscars monologue, Jimmy Kimmel, I'm just not like a huge Jimmy Kimmel fan. Like Jimmy Kimmel to me, he always acts like he's better than every single person. And that's what I don't love about Jimmy Kimmel. Like
You
what
think?
that's the vibe I got.
Hmm.
And it
I really don't mind
solidified it
him.
when Emma Stone turned to her husband and said he's a prick about Jimmy Kimmel. And I was like, you know what?
When did that happen?
You didn't see that going crazy
I have not
on
seen that either.
Oh my God. Well, she like mouthed. It's a classic mouthing thing, but it looks very clear. Where after he made the poor things joke, she turned to her husband and it looks like he mouthed, he's a prick. Or she mouthed, he's a prick. Um, I don't know if that's what she said for sure, but I'd like to think that's what she said.
I feel
Just
like
Well,
for
I'm watching
entertainment
it.
purposes.
I feel like Jimmy Kimmel
Oh my
is
God,
like
that's impossible to tell. That's literally like
I don't know. It was going crazy. Like I said, it's
this
another
is a
lip
classic
reading. You don't
Harry
know for
Styles
sure.
it
spit
looks like
spit.
I know, it looks like she only says one word.
Yeah, I don't know.
And it
I
was
don't know. I just
prick.
thought it was funny.
No, I
Yeah,
mean it is
and the
getting picked
word
up.
was prick.
It's getting picked up everywhere. This is page six. Is like made a video. Fans believe Emma Stone called Jimmy Kimmel a prick after Poor Things joke. And I just like I'm watching the video and I just cannot. I just don't think that's what she said.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't know for sure. Like I
I mean,
said, for
from that's
entertainment.
only my like. I'm no reading expert, but I don't see like the puh. I don't know. I don't know.
Listen,
What do I know?
I'm joking around. It's another lip reading
Yeah,
fiasco.
another
You
lip
never
reading
know.
thing.
You will literally never know what somebody actually
We
said.
gotta give that up.
Yeah, you will never know what somebody actually said. But I will say this. I don't really mind Jimmy Kimmel. Like sometimes he's funny, sometimes he's not, but I do think he has this like aura about him that he thinks he's better than everybody else. That's just the vibe I get from Jimmy Kimmel.
I could see that he does have an like maybe like a little superiority complex kind of thing, maybe.
Right. I'm the best talk show host.
I
Yeah,
think he's just
yeah,
done it so
but
many times that it's just like, oh, like whatever. Like
totally. I also think
Yeah,
he's
that
so
that's
too.
true.
comfortable.
Yeah,
That's true.
like he just gets out there. He's like, all right, wheel me out again. You know,
Yeah,
like
people were
I'll do the thing and I'll do it the way I always do it. And there was like, he most of the time he keeps it pretty elementary as far as like his jokes go. He
yeah.
doesn't push it that far. But I giggled at a few of them. There were
What
some
did
good.
you
I chuckled at the age jokes, chuckled at the Robert De Niro girlfriend with,
Yeah.
what did you think about
he
Robert
played most of
Downey?
it pretty well.
I thought that Robert Downey took that well. Like I didn't like people were like so offended for Robert Downey Jr., but I what I took from that was that Jimmy Kimmel and Robert Downey Jr. must have a pretty fine relationship for him to make that joke.
I think so too. And I
I
thought he
didn't
was fine. Like he
yeah,
didn't
I
seem
thought
like
Robert
he had
Downey
an issue with it at
Jr.
all.
was like joking around about it.
Yeah.
I actually thought that like I was like, oh, that's like a bold joke to make, like, and but I didn't
Right.
think in like a bad way necessarily because it seemed like Robert Downey Jr. thought it was funny.
And I feel like he's the kind of guy that if anybody can laugh at themselves, he can, He's always
Yeah.
been pretty open about like his past and talking about it and all of that. So I feel like I don't think Jimmy would have done that if he didn't think
Did you ever
Robert Downey Jr. would be okay with it.
there has been that like viral interview clip. It's old of Robert Downey Jr., but he was being interviewed and someone kept asking him about like his drug abuse in the past, and Robert Downey Jr. walked off the set and was like, "What are we doing? Like, why are we talking about this?" But I feel like yeah, like I didn't think that it
Yeah,
was
I
like
mean
this
that's
year.
different. That's different. Then this is this year, and he's at like Robert Downey Jr. is on such a fucking high right now. Like he cleaned up every award. He's sitting at the Oscars. He knows he's gonna win. Everybody else knows he's gonna win. So it's like
Yeah, and I also took it as like him and Jimmy Kimmel must have a good relationship because Jimmy Kimmel
I
does
would think so.
I think has a good relationship with a lot of celebrities.
Yeah.
So I felt like, oh, he's making this joke because he knows that Robert Downey Jr. is going to take it well.
Except for that pesky Matt Damon.
Yeah, yeah.
I
That joke.
forgot about.
I mean,
They
he'll
that was at the end of the Oscars. They showed the dog peeing on the Matt Damon star.
it's a
Oh,
feud
I
that
missed
is
that. I
like
turned it off by then.
oh no, yeah, that's a feud that just continues on
It's so funny. It'll
between
never get
him and
old.
Matt Damon. It is funny. It does provide the funniest material for him, I would say, is
Mhm.
him versus Matt Damon. But yeah, my one problem with I just thought the monologue went on too long. Like it was like it felt like a full 20 minutes almost. Like it
Yeah.
needed to be shortened a little bit.
I do feel like when it comes to Jimmy Kimmel though, he is the safest choice to like
Oh
he'll
yeah.
do the run of the mill jokes, he'll get some giggles, he'll get, oh, maybe it goes on too long, but you know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, I agree. And John Mulaney came out for a second and he did a little bit like he did a bit about Field of Dreams and Best Picture, but it was very John Mulaney. It was very funny. And John Mulaney would be very good at hosting award shows. I feel like he would be like
I
that would be such a good job for him. I feel like he can make fun of people in a really like funny kind of like nice way because he also like he is so self-deprecating that when people are like that, like I feel sometimes they have a better way of joking and making fun of others in a way that is not offensive. And he should have that job for he like Golden Globes. He would be so good.
Yeah, I never was like into John Mulaney until I watched his most recent Netflix special where he talks about his whole story of how he ended up in rehab, and I think it's one of the funniest things I've ever watched. Like I've watched it 3 times at this point because the story in which he tells it is so captivating from beginning to end. And I became a fan of him from that. I was like, wow, what a storytelling like, and I think his jokes would land at shows like
I
these.
agree. I agree. He is very, very funny. That would be really good. But as far as I guess we can kind of talk on the about the awards for a little, and then all the other stuff. But as far as the awards go, it felt like it was everybody we expected. The same people have kind of won throughout award season. So Robert Downey Jr., Davon Joy Randolph, um, Emma Stone, Killian Murphy, Oppenheimer won, but the I guess Emma Stone and Lily Gladstone was probably the one that was Best Actress was the only one that I was like, ooh, this could be a toss up because Lily's won for at some shows, Emma's won at some, and this went to Emma, who was she's just so freaking adorable. She is so good in Poor Things. I was so happy I watched Poor Things this last week before the show, and she was just fantastic. And she was cracking me up. Sure, she's like, my dress broke. She's like, don't look at my dress. But she is just this, just you just want to like pinch her cheeks and like she's just so cute.
I just love Emma Stone so much. I don't know about pinching her cheeks and doing that. I just want to hang out with her.
I just
Like
think she's adorable. I just
I
think she's
I
adorable.
I just would love to be her friend. Like I just feel like she's such an amazing person. I just get this overwhelming sense of like, oh my God, she's one of the greatest actresses ever, and also is just such a delight and so down to earth and seems incredibly normal, but is also just so extremely talented. Her face when she won was so funny because I think she was so completely shocked. Like I really think she was so shocked that she had won. And people were like, why is she mad? Like, you're not mad at winning an award. You're at the Oscars and you just are in front of all these people and they say your name when you're not expecting it. Like she must have just been stunned. But she did deserve it, and she had won the awards prior to that. So it was just so great to see. I like cried my eyes out at her winning because I feel like I just love her. I just want the best things for her. Um, I like watching her and Jennifer Lawrence interact. Like I don't know how deep their friendship goes.
It's pretty deep. Jennifer Lawrence was talking about she was asked by I think she was asked by I can't say her last name, but Amelia uh
Chicken
Chicken
chop.
yeah,
Shop
Chicken
Girl.
Shop. Yeah. And she was like, "Who are you rooting for tonight?" And she was like, "Oh, like, but." And she was like, "I mean, one of my best friends is nominated, so I think they are very, very close."
Yeah, that was incredible. I mean, we started off the night with Divine Joy Randolph winning for supporting actress. First of all,
Yeah,
I loved her dress and I loved like her whole ensemble. And that was a tearjerker to begin with in the first place because that movie was so good. And I thought that she was such a funny light to that movie because that movie kind of, the way it was shot was like a little dark and dim. And she brought such a light to that movie. So her starting off right off the bat winning, it was off to a great start. It was like, all right, people are winning the awards that they deserve.
yeah, and I did really like the setup. At first, when they did it for supporting actress, I was like, "Oh boy." I think I texted you guys. I was like, "Is this how it's going to be for every award? Because this show is going to be 5 hours long." Like, obviously, for not the non-acting awards, they didn't do it, but for all the acting awards, they brought out five people who have won that award, and then they each individually talked about one of the nominees, which was really, really nice. It was a really nice setup. I liked that they did that for all the acting awards, that they did it for each of those four categories, which I just thought was really nice. Got to see a lot of people that maybe wouldn't have been there otherwise. Like seeing that moment with Sally Fields and Emma Stone was so sweet too. and having them have, those conversations and talk. And Jennifer Lawrence hasn't been at the Oscars in a very long time. It's the first time she's been back at the Oscars in years. So kind of seeing some faces that you don't normally see at the award shows was really nice, and it was sweet. And they showed the actor and actresses, their faces as these people were talking about them, and obviously it was extremely nice, sweet words were said about every person. So that's got to feel good.
Yeah, it has to feel great, especially, you're up for an award, your
Right.
chances are likely you're not going to win because only one
Right.
person wins. So to hear you be complimented in a way, it's a nice letdown. It's like, here, you're
Right.
really
Softens the
incredible.
blow a little bit.
Yeah, you're incredible, but not the best. No, I liked the way they did that. I thought it was something special and not just like, here's the award, unlike what happened with Al Pacino for Best Picture,
What the
which was
hell was
just,
that?
here's the winner. I see Oppenheimer.
Looks like
I see
Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer.
Goodness, I
Yeah.
see Oppenheimer.
There
Ah.
was nothing. There was no climax. There was nothing. It was just
There
Oppenheimer.
was no build up. There was no, and of course, throughout the Oscars, you come back from commercial break and they play a clip from the best pictures. So it's like we had already seen each best picture. They do it. But, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like even when they do that, when they're announcing the winner, it's at least, I don't know, there's some kind of pause, or, the nominees are, and they just put them all up on the screen. They just put like pictures of all 10 movies, little build up. But Al clearly had to go home. It was past his bedtime. He was like, you know what? I gotta get to it. I'm opening this envelope right now. Oppenheimer, it's you guys. It just
Yeah, he's like, let me just put
there was
this to
no
rest.
the crowd didn't know how to like they were like Oppenheimer.
They need to stop having the old men announce this award. Make it stop. It's continuous mistakes. Every
Yeah,
year, the clip of them announcing La La Land instead of Moonlight goes viral. We have to watch that awkwardness and cringe and relive it. And your whole body fucking shudders in fear
yeah.
watching this clip. And then last night, you're like, did Oppenheimer win? Like, can we trust that he sees Oppenheimer? What does that mean? Obviously, we know that Oppenheimer won, and they won a ton of awards.
Yeah, they
And
did.
Robert Downey Jr. won for supporting actor, and Cillian Murphy won for best actor, and Bradley Cooper probably cried himself to sleep last night next to his mommy because he did not have a good run at award show season. There were rumors that he was gonna do like a red carpet debut with GTD, and I'm like, no, he brings his mom to every award show.
No, his mom is his date every single time.
That was
I
a
thought
funny
that
joke from
was a
Jimmy
funny joke.
Kimmel. Yeah, that one
Yeah,
was funny. Jimmy Kimmel said, how many times can you bring your mom to your award show as a date before you're actually dating? I
yeah,
laughed hard at that.
that was a funny joke for sure. Also, Bradley's got it just like one or two shades lighter on the spray tan. My guy, he looks good, but I'd see him on the carpet. And I'm like, that spray tan is too dark. His mom's doing his spray tan.
Yeah, him and Matthew McConaughey are going over to Bradley Cooper's mom's house and having her spray tan lady spray them because
Yeah,
both of them, the spray tans, we got to dial it down a notch. Go to light, not medium.
yeah.
Go
You
one,
know who?
go one spray, not two.
Yeah. You know who really was, who I'm sure just has a natural tan at all times because, he lives in Australia, and like Chris Hemsworth, man, that guy just gets better and better.
Chris Hemsworth's a specimen. He walked out on stage and sometimes you like forget that Chris Hemsworth is Thor because you're like,
Yeah.
why is Chris Hemsworth here? And then you're like, oh no, he's Thor. No wonder he's
Yeah.
here.
I
Yeah.
saw him
And
in the
and
in
man,
the
he
back, and I'm
looks,
like, yeah, he's in a room with like some of the best looking people in the world, and he still stands out so
He
oh
much.
my God,
he
he just
just
looked
stands out.
incredibly handsome on stage.
Mhm.
Like it was, oh man.
I will say it's sad that Liam Hemsworth didn't have the career that he could have had because Liam Hemsworth in the last song, people should write songs about it, you know?
His performance is not that great.
No,
Oh,
not his performance,
oh,
how
him.
he looks.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, yeah. He is Liam. I are like peak Liam, but I don't know. I don't think Liam has the uh has the acting
I
chops
don't think he has the
that Chris
drive.
has. The drive. We're questioning his drive. Well, weren't both he and Chris like didn't they both audition for Thor?
Oh, I don't remember that.
I think they might have, which is tough. But yeah, it just, it did not pick up for him
No.
as much as it did Chris. And
And
I
the
wonder,
and the other brother.
yeah, well, he never tried to be an actor, I don't think.
Yeah.
Luke Hemsworth.
Right, right.
Rum Haven is made with real coconut water and no artificial flavors or preservatives for clean and a refreshing taste, not a fake one. You can't beat the taste of real coconut water. It's delicious, clean, and refreshing. Rum Haven believes that Mother Nature does it best. That's why Rum Haven is crafted with premium Caribbean rum and real coconut water. Enjoy Rum Haven straight over ice with a splash of club soda or your favorite juice. We have had some Rum Haven cocktails served at our shows these last couple weeks, and the people are raving about them. We met some girls during the meet and greet. They've gotten the Rum Haven cocktail at the bar. They love it. It's delicious. Rum Haven, as you know, the weather starts to get a little bit warmer. You want to have a cocktail while you sit outside. Rum Haven is perfect for that. For me, a nice rum punch, mix it with one of your favorite juices, maybe a little cranberry, a little orange juice. Maybe you like yours with a little pineapple. The options are endless, and Rum Haven is delicious. So you can find out where to pick up a bottle of Rum Haven for yourself by visiting rumhaven.com. That's rumhaven.com. Honestly, so many great winners. My family was so freaking excited for Godzilla to win that award. And honestly, seeing that team, did you see the shoes they had on? The
Mm-hmm.
shoes that they had on with the Godzilla claw as the heels, and they all got on stage. They all had Godzilla toys in their hands. They couldn't even hold their
They couldn't be
Oscars.
more ready.
They were so ready. I was so excited for them. Truly like tears in my eyes. I was so happy because they are so freaking cute. And my dad texted our giant group chat, just like all caps, Godzilla -1, Oscar winners. Like he was so excited. My mom said he was jumping up and like that man loves Godzilla and he loved
Mm-hmm.
that movie. And I was very excited for him to have that moment and for that team because that was so sweet. And then another surprising, we kind of went through like hair and makeup and editing and sound. Like those, honestly, they went fast. They kind of seemed like they were going a little faster than normal. Of course, the walk-off music plays pretty quick, plays pretty quick for a lot of these people.
Yeah.
You could kind of tell they pick and choose how long some people get. Like the walk-off music comes on really early for some
Well,
categories.
like during the documentary about Ukraine, when he was making that whole speech, I was like, there is no way they're gonna start playing him off. Like that went on, but I was like,
Well,
they cannot play this off.
that speech ended, and then because the next thing I think was Ryan Gosling's performance, they started playing I'm Just Ken.
Oh my God, that was
And I was
unbelievable.
like, oh my God, I cannot believe we just went from this speech to like it's like I'm just Ken. And I was like, but
They were playing Candy Shop at one point for one award. Do you
yeah,
guys
then
hear that?
there was well, it's funny because I think too that if you didn't realize, and in Anatomy of a Fall, a big part of Anatomy of a Fall is a steel drum version of PIMP,
Oh, that's what it
which,
was. No, no, no. It
yes.
wasn't Candy
So
Shop. It was
yes.
PIMP.
So that was playing, and a lot of like people were like, "Oh my God, is this fucking PIMP?" But it's a big part of the movie, which is kind of, it's an interesting tidbit. But that was like, because at first I forgot. I was like, "Oh my God, what are they playing?" And then Joe was like, "Oh no, they play this in the movie, remember?" I was like, "Oh yeah." But even Godzilla, I think they had a picture of somebody, I want to say maybe a producer, somebody that worked on the movie that they had said had passed. And literally they were trying to like mention him at the end of their speech, and the music started playing, and I was like, come on, really? Like give him a moment. Um And the other award I was surprised about, which I just didn't realize, was that Christopher Nolan has yet to win a Best Director. I did not realize that. When he won Best Director, it was like the announcer was like, "This is Christopher Nolan's first win and 8 nominations." I was like, "What?" I was very surprised by that. I did not realize he had not won for any of his other movies. So that's a very exciting for him.
I'd like to say that I can't necessarily get a read on Christopher Nolan because I wonder if he's the Quentin Tarantino type. Is he the Martin Scorsese type? Like,
Like as a person.
yeah, as a person, like, how you get to know like their personalities, or like Martin Scorsese, we've gotten to know because of his daughter. Quentin Tarantino, we've gotten to know because of himself, because he's like a freak.
Yeah.
Christopher Nolan, like, is he serious? Can he joke around? I want to know where his personality
Right.
lies.
That's a good question. I don't know enough to answer too, because I would want to say he seems like the serious type, just because of his work. But
Right.
it's the same thing.
Maybe
Like,
he has a little funny bone.
yeah,
I
like
think he does. I think I see him
I
joke
would think
around.
so. I would
But
think.
you would think that he's like just looking at him and his movies. I would assume he's like the very pretentious type, but I don't think he is that. Like I'm sure he is in a
I don't
way,
think
but
he is
he's not
either.
like a dick. I don't think.
You know what I you know what I really liked during the show as well, just speaking of directors, was Spielberg making that joke with Kate McKinnon. That was very funny when they were on stage. And she
Yeah.
was like, "Well, who am I sending my tasteful nudes to?" Oh man. Yes, that's pretty much as far as
The,
awards go. I felt
Yeah.
like that was
did you guys
all the
the
big
in
things.
memoriam? Do they usually put up like five people at once, or is this the first time they did that? Because I'm like they were like up off like five different people at once. I'm like they're really trying to just
Yeah, I mean, they
fit
just
everyone
went
in.
through it really fast, obviously. I just feel like sometimes the in memoriam, it just depends, sometimes they're really long and it's like multiple, like, I just felt like they wanted to fit it in the span of the one song. And also, they really made Andrea Bocelli and his son, like, we were watching them perform. It was like it started with the screen, but then as it went on, we were just watching Andrea and Matteo sing, and like the in memoriam was just going on behind them, which was
Yeah.
kind of
And then like at
interesting.
the end,
Yeah.
it
And
was kind of like,
unfortunately,
thank
yeah.
you, like a concert.
And then at the end, they just slapped a ton of names on there
Right.
at the end. Like it was like these are some names we missed.
Pause the
And
screen if you want
unfortunately,
to see your
you can
person.
only think of Step Brothers.
Yeah,
Mm,
You know
that's
what
why
I
I
mean?
was
Like
like, I can
you're
only think of Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly singing
right.
this.
Um,
yeah, I
Standout.
guess I'm not a big Step Brothers person, so it's that it doesn't get me there.
Step
I've
Brothers is
never
I've seen
heard
it
that
like a trillion
song
times.
outside of that context.
Are
What?
you kidding me? Not at Courtney and Kim's weddings, respectfully.
No,
Yeah,
I
Andrea
mean, where else would
Bocelli.
I hear this?
Oh my mother loves Andrea Bocelli.
Standout moment of the night obviously was "I'm Just Ken," Ryan
Yeah.
Gosling. He crushed that, and
Yep.
he crushed that more than a lot of singers. And we know that Ryan Gosling does have a singing and dancing background. He started on the Mickey Mouse Club and La La Land, but that was incredible. He really put
Incredible.
on a show, and I love how into it he got.
I know he is a triple threat. And I was cracking up because my my mom was talking about it last night, obviously. She was like, Ryan Gosling, amazing, triple threat. And I said, quadruple if you count handsome. And as I said that text at the same time, my mom said, and friggin' adorable. And we were like, she goes, oh, we think alike. I mean, he just the beginning, it also started off on such a great note. One, the timing of this performance was perfect. It was like placed perfectly in the show where it was after some of the awards that, you're kind of like, all right, like let's move it. And then it put a pep in everyone's step. But Margot Robbie like could not stop laughing. Billie Eilish behind him couldn't stop laughing like as he started it. He commits to that. His commitment to Ken is what sells it so hard. He is
Mhm.
so into it.
And
Um,
people talk about the fact that him and Eva Mendes, they never walk carpets together, but she was, I think, backstage, like in his
yeah,
trailer, she posted with the jacket and she posted like, it's time to go home and tuck in the kids. Uh, I love their commitments to never going on the carpets together. People wonder why. I also wonder why, but it just gets to mean he gets to bring his sister or somebody else that he wants to bring,
yeah,
and Eva Mendes with the same situation. But he crushed that performance, and I think took something that, could have been more serious because people were upset about Margaret Robbie not getting nominated, Greta Gerwig not getting nominated, and Ryan Gosling did. He could have been like, nah, I'm not going to perform. But instead he did. And he made it funny and light, and they were laughing. And it brought joy, and it brought something unserious to the Oscars, because sometimes the Oscars can be pretentious and very serious. And this brought laughter, which I thought was great. And, that the Emma Stone moment. I just love when they interact. So,
yeah. Yeah, I agree. And it's just it was one of those things too. Yeah, I guess they just really have a hard and fast rule, those two, about like carpets and publicity when it comes to the two of them, which I respect. If you're a couple, you draw a hard line and it's like this is what works for us. Um, and clearly it does. And she supports from backstage and obviously in real life. And but no, the performance itself was incredible. I mean, like the side by side that everyone was doing of Marilyn Monroe and like the parallels of the
mhm.
performance and having the other Kens also be behind him dancing, like all of a sudden you were like, oh, Simu. Like they were joining in. Slash. I mean, like they just all of a sudden it was just like Slash playing I'm Just Ken. And it's just so great because it's so unserious, but so fun. Like he takes it so seriously, like he commits to it so hard for such a silly song. Like when you listen to this song, it is just such a silly song to be playing in front of everyone at the Oscars. And I think everyone just had so much fun with it. I'm sure he did. Emma Stone talking about it afterwards, after she had won her Oscar and she was doing press. And she was like, somebody had asked her about her dress, and she was like, "Oh, they fixed it. Like they stitched me back in." She was like, "Honestly, like I really think I just did that during I'm Just Ken. Like it just came over me. I couldn't stop." Which is so fair. It was a big moment. I mean, he absolutely dominated. And then I feel like there's a couple other gimmicky things. They brought John Cena out naked, not naked, with his little loincloth on. Not to just talk about this guy's body, but I mean, he came out naked. So, like, hello. But God, he looks like a plastic action figure. Like, I feel like he looks like
A GI
if
Joe.
you took if you took a GI Joe doll and it didn't have any clothes on, that's what it would look like. I'm like, it's insane. He looks solid. Like you would just hit, like punching him would just be a brick wall.
it would hurt severely.
Yes, it was crazy. So yeah, that was a obviously big moment, and the people were really obsessed about like what he actually had on. Like I saw far too many Instagram and like news posts today that were like, see John Cena backstage and what he really had on. I was like, whoa, what? Um,
Uh,
so yeah, you could see those pictures.
Yeah, now I want to mention Billie Eilish. Her and Phineas performed their song for
Yes,
Barbie, and she won her second Oscar,
beautiful.
22 years old. It's
Youngest
actually
person
it's
to
actually
win two Oscars,
incredible.
I think.
Wait, she only
It's
one away
incredible.
from an EGOT,
No, she needs
Golden
I don't
Globe.
think she has a Tony.
No, she definitely doesn't have a
she doesn't have
Tony.
an Emmy either, a
Oh, she doesn't
Tony
have
or
an
an Emmy.
Emmy. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, she hasn't done. Oh wait, no, didn't she win for, or was
No,
that the
she got
Golden Globes for
nominated.
Swarm?
She got nominated for Swarm, but I don't think
How
she won.
she won for Swarm? I don't know if it was Golden
Oh,
Globes, but she won
was that
something for
an
Swarm.
Emmy?
And
No, I think she was nominated. No, because I watched an interview where Billy and Phineas literally talked about it last night, and he said, "We'll just be the go. We don't have an Emmy or a Tony."
Mm, That would make sense. I feel like I would have I feel like she
Oh, it's People's Choice where she wants for him. Okay.
ah,
That's definitely not part of
that's
the
not in
EGOT.
the acronym.
Yeah, EGOT.
Yeah. Egg pot.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, no, that was nice. And I love it when they cut to the crowd after that performance and everybody was like really into it. I mean, it's just like such a captivating song. And it really makes you feel something every time you hear it. And I can't imagine like being so close to Billie Eilish actually performing it. I would be a puddle. I would be an absolute I'm already a puddle like when I'm just listening to it on my TV. Like if I was
Mhm.
there hearing her sing it in real life, oh my gosh.
Also, the
Um,
theater was so cool, the way that they had like the orchestra like up here
yeah.
on top. Like,
Yeah, it was. It was a really cool setup. And I mean, as always, the Oscars red carpet itself, nothing was like crazy to me. It's always Vanity Fair that people decide to take fashion
Yeah.
risks and do crazy things. And the Vanity Fair Oscar party is really where the moments happen. Like I said, I've said many times, if I could pick one party to be a fly on the wall, it would really be that one.
Yeah, or the
The
Met Gala.
fashion, like Margot Robbie's two outfit, like the comparison. I mean, she looks stunning at the Oscars. She always does. But that compared to the Mugler like corset bodysuit that she wore to the Vanity Fair Oscar party, I was drooling. I was like, oh my God, that is incredible. It's something different, something you don't see her in. And it was like totally more of a risk. And I was like, oh my God, that's incredible. And then the Oscars, it was like a very pretty black dress, you know?
Yeah, I felt like for the Oscars because she wasn't nominated, I feel like she was kind of like, fuck you guys, I'm just going in a black dress. Because she had been
Right,
put
right.
like in all these Barbie outfits all year long.
I saw people being like, she wore black, Barbie's dead. It's over.
No,
This is
that's literally
Barbie's
what it
last
felt like.
ride.
Like it was like, all right, she's done. Like
Yeah.
that's it. But yeah, I was obsessed with her Vanity Fair look. I always loved Kendall Jenner's Vanity Fair looks.
Yeah.
I
Her and
always
Kylie,
they
honestly.
always crush it for the Vanity Fair. I'm always excited to see what they're wearing, and everybody else always wears something cool and sexy. And Sabrina Carpenter, Barry Keoghan, we got more from them. They walked the carpet at the same time but separately, and he was just staring at her the whole time. And there's a video where he's staring at her, and the camera's like Barry, and he's like, "Sorry, I'm distracted," which I was just like, they're really
So
feeling each other right
cute. I know
now.
they really are. And I actually like, obviously they're going with the flow and doing what they wanted to do, but I am surprised by the level of like public things that they are at, you know? Not that they didn't walk the carpet together, but I mean, they were there together. And he had a friendship bracelet on that said Sabrina, which was really, that's like obviously so cute. And seemed like they had a great time. Everybody chummed it up. And at the Vanity Fair after party, some really, Emily Ratajkowski's dress was so interesting to me because it almost, and I was really staring at it for a while because it was like an optical illusion because the chest plate of the dress like had boob imprints in it, but it wasn't where her boobs were. Like her boobs were off to the side, but the chest plate went this way, but they had like it almost looked like boob imprints in them. It was an optical illusion and I don't, power to her. She wears these dresses that couldn't imagine putting
Yeah.
something like that on my body.
Well, the pieces that go up in front, her and Kim Kardashian wore similar. I'm not a big fan of those dresses. I feel like they get in the
Mm,
way,
yeah,
for you
yeah. Yeah,
interacting, talking with people. They're like right in front of your face. So
that's
not
true.
not a huge fan of those. But yeah, that was about it for fashion, and it was a solid show. End of award season. Okay, it's the end of award season. It's the end of talking about all these movies.
Did you like Ariana Grande's pink dress?
I thought that what she wore was a better version of what Ariana Grande was wearing.
I agree. I agree. I didn't love it.
I wasn't obsessed, but I loved Kelty Knight's hot pink dress that looked similar to that, but I think better.
Yeah. I actually I very much agree with that as well. There are some good looks, some honestly, I just love going through the Vanity Fair pictures. A lot of oh, sorry, second question. Just got a lot to say here for some reason. I'm finally getting a burst of energy after 48 hours of doing jack shit. Um the sleeves. Emily Blunt and Florence Pugh both wore dresses that had like raised sleeves, which really had the people talking. Some people were like really offended by these sleeves. I thought they were cool. Like, I don't know, they were different.
I kind of felt indifferent about it. I actually really loved Emily Blunt's dress a lot, and Florence Pugh. Actually, I love them both.
Yeah, I love
I
them.
I would have liked it better if the sleeves were down, but I think that then people wouldn't be talking about them as much. So I think you have to add that little element of like the popped sleeve or whatever it was. I
Mm.
don't think I've seen that before. So I think it caused more conversation around their outfits.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was cool. It felt like I don't know, it just felt like artsy fashion, something we never haven't seen, something
Right.
different.
And they were both in Oppenheimer, so maybe
That
it was a
was
thing.
that was actually my favorite bit of the night. Probably that when Emily Blunt and Ryan Gosling presented that award. That was
Yep.
very funny.
They were really funny. I like that too a lot. The jabs back and forth at each other. Emily Blunt said to Ryan Gosling, like, um, Cillian Murphy doesn't have to, or whatever, who was it? Robert Downey Jr. doesn't have to paint abs onto his body
Yeah.
to get nominated. They were
Yeah.
tailing Barbies all summer. I thought
So
that was
that's why
great.
it's not called Op and Barbie.
Yeah, that was funny. I thought that was funny. But overall, good show.
I agree. I agree. Um, and yeah, I didn't see too much, like there wasn't too much quote unquote drama per se from any of the after parties. I know um that Travis and Taylor's name was included in like the private, I don't know, maybe Gucci, I don't know, some after party
Mm-hmm.
that is like no phones, no photos, private
It was
party that
Madonna's,
they
right?
both went to. Madonna hosted it, yeah.
Yeah.
And their names were included in the guest list. So they must have made it back from Singapore in time to make it to the Oscar parties, even
Flying
though it was
around.
totally private. Won't see those
Yeah,
pictures.
only the photographer's pictures. So unfortunately,
Right, exactly. Maybe there'll be like a portrait of sorts
yeah.
that comes out from its only official photos. But yeah, it was a that's a wrap on a very fun award season. Ever wish you could call a foul on your wireless carrier for their hidden fees? Then it's time to switch to Visible. Switch to Visible, the wireless company with nothing to hide, and get one line wireless with unlimited 5G data powered by Verizon, just $25 per month, every month, taxes and fees included. One line wireless, just $25 a month, taxes and fees included. Visible is the wireless company with nothing to hide, no hidden fees, no gotchas, unlimited 5G data powered by Verizon. Don't let hidden fees stop you from being a fan of wireless. Switch to Visible and save. Switch now at visible.com. Rate with service on the Visible plan. For additional terms and network management practices, see visible.com. So, one more time, you can switch now at visible.com.
All right, let's get into the weekly watch report where we talk about the things we watched this week. Weekly watch report on Monday or Tuesday. Weekly watch report on Monday or Tuesday. Weekly watch report on Monday or Tuesday. I lost the beat of the song. Weekly watch report.
Yeah.
Okay. Traders.
Yeah. Oh my God. Love is blind.
Yeah.
Oh shit. I forgot. We didn't even really we gotta talk. Okay, go ahead. Traders.
Traders finale, I give an A.
Can we talk about it? Should we hit this with a spoiler alert?
Yeah, spoiler. We're gonna talk about the ending.
Spoiler. If you haven't finished the season, don't listen. They
I'm
fucking took these kids to school, CT and Trishelle. They really did.
They showed them a master class of the challenge.
Yep.
They said, "You little kiddies, you think you know your gameplay? Well, you don't know shit. We've been playing the challenge for 20 years now, and we're gonna fucking school you." Poor MJ. Like
I
MJ
know.
got
She did.
robbed.
She did.
MJ got robbed. And here's the thing though, I'm not mad about it because I've watched the challenge before. And if you've watched the challenge before, you're not mad about this.
Yep.
If you're a little softy who doesn't like when at the end of the game people get screwed over, then you're not gonna like this move. But as two people who have watched the challenge, you're gonna go, gotta respect CT and Trishelle here. I also don't know if they totally knew what they were doing because Trishelle
Yeah.
voted for CT.
I
Like
my
she actually wasn't even gonna
I
vote
know.
MJ.
My jaw was on my jaw was on the floor. I was like, oh my God, she's gonna fuck this up. Like, how is she going to ride with CT this whole time and not and have this? I mean, she is so lucky it went to a revote. If that they,
Thank
like the way that went. And I understood what she was saying. Like CT's last minute flip at the last roundtable was like kind of confusing. Um, but it really did feel genuine, like what he was saying. I just couldn't imagine her seeing him be like, she's like, I'm finishing with the only person I trust in here. It's her. And uh and she was like, CT, I wrote your name down.
yeah,
So, at least they got to save it and come around and they won it together, which was, I'm sure, what they hoped would happen. And it was an impressive win, very impressive win. CT deserved it considering he won every drop of money that they won. Like he
right.
was the only every activity, every challenge where they had to win the money. Like thank God they had CT or they would have had no money.
Right. I was rooting for CT the whole time, just, as from being a challenge fan. MJ got it wrong every time. MJ didn't
Yeah.
know who the traitors were, who the
No.
faithfuls were. She had no fucking idea who was what in that game. CT carried everybody on his back like he's done before with Johnny Bananas. And that's the way it went. So
Yep.
I was shocked though when it seemed like Trishelle was gonna flip with CT. But happy that she came to her senses and was like, all right, if he's gonna vote, like we gotta be on the same page here because they had to vote somebody else at that point because they both put the chips in saying that they believe there was more traitors, so they had no other choice. But it was a great finale, great season. Really looking forward to the next season and who they get for the next season because I thought this was an all-star cast.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the reunion. I'm giving Traitors an A.
I think that they'll only get a better cast too because the second season was such a success. Like the first season was successful, but I just feel like the second season everyone was raving about. And I feel like everybody's going to want to go on this show. So it's going to be exciting to see. During the reunion, Andy did, like, they did bring up the Pete and Ekin-Su rumors. They said they're just friends. and, that kind of made me laugh. And Andy also asked Larsa about her and Marcus, and they were both like, "Oh, we just, had a little blip,
Classic. We knew that's
just
what
a little
happened. A
blip,
little Valentine's Day blip.
a little blip. Everything's all good now." But no, what a great season of Traders. That was so good.
Really, really good. I'm giving it an A overall.
Yeah.
Quickly, I'll just mention this. I've been rewatching One Tree Hill. One Tree Hill is a classic, gets an A.
From the beginning.
No, I started at season 5 because
Oh,
I had watched the
interesting.
beginning so many times that I was like, let me just pick up from when they go to college or after
Okay.
college. And it is the storylines that, this was the around the time of the writer strike. And then
Mm.
they picked it back up and it's obvious the 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 storylines are something else.
Yeah, it's interesting. I
I
think like a
do
lot of people do a 1 to 4 rewatch, like seasons 1 to 4, because they like the early years. But yeah, because it gets a little.
It gets crazy, but that's why I like to go back. So I'm like, this shit really did get really crazy.
Yeah, it did. It did.
Um,
It did. I mean, they once Peyton and Lucas go after 6, it's
gets fun. But I was actually a really big fan of Clay and Quinn.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was so excited for that. And then Love is Blind. Um,
Finale.
unfortunately, with Love is Blind, this is what happens every season. Starts off real hot. You're
Yeah.
really into it because the pods are so interesting. Then you're really into when they get out of the pods and finally meet each other. And then when it gets to the wedding episodes, you're like, this is boring. Fast forward. Who said yes? Who said no? Da 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 da
Yeah,
da.
yeah,
Let's
yeah.
cut to the chase. So overall, I thought it was I'm gonna give it a minus this season. For the wedding episodes, like I said, it's just the same old. You at this point expect who to break up and who is going to get married. Jimmy and Chelsea, they broke up right at the start, but now they've been seen out a ton. So people speculate that they may be back
Hey
together.
man, there's some videos of those two getting pretty close out in Florida this past weekend. They went out to lunch. That got captured. They posted on their Instagram stories. And then now there's all these TikToks of them at some bar or club or whatever. And they're touching, they're hanging out together. So I don't know. I don't know. It's like it's always what happens after. It's like something's going on with those two. Brit Brittany posted a TikTok with what was his name? Kenneth?
Yeah.
And that has people being like, what the hell is this? So I don't know. There's a lot. Like there's also been people have been like, I think someone saw maybe a video of AD and Clay hanging out or something along those lines. I don't know. There's a lot of questions to be answered during the finale, as always, because like you said, the last episode has really gotten to the point where it's so long. And when there's only two weddings, it's like fast forward, fast forward, fast forward. Like you just want to get to the altar. I saw someone from the first season, I forget who, it was like, damn, these couples really don't have to go all the way to the altar, huh? It seemed like maybe they've relaxed on that. The production like really made all the couples go to the altar and then have their decision. Because now it's like two or three max, it feels like actually make it to the altar. So I don't know. I hope AD does not. I don't know. I go back and forth, but I kind of hope AD doesn't take Clay back. Not that he was necessary. I'm never going to fault anyone for saying no on this show. It is a ridiculous premise. Granted, you signed up for it. You're on it.
Right.
You know what the show is.
That's what the
But,
tricky part about.
I just like for you to be like, I'm not ready to get married after a month, 3 weeks, whatever it is, like fair. But it was like the build up to that really I was unhappy. Like Clay, I felt like really made AD feel like he was going to say yes. It just
Mm-hmm.
really felt like they were having conversations like he was going to say yes. And just like a lot with his family and really talking about his past with his dad and having his dad on the show. And then his mom was saying that like this is the first time she was hearing a lot of these things and they're on TV. It was just all it was a lot. And I'm sure it was a lot for them to handle. And he said no. And I was surprised. I will say I'm not gonna lie, I really did think he was gonna say yes, but and then Johnny and Amy, like that was just the most. I was like, that was from episode 3. I was like, these two are getting married. So
Yeah, that one was the most obvious. I feel like everything kind of played out the way we thought it would. Of course, besides like you said, Clay kind of did make
yeah,
it seem like to AD that he was going to say yes, but of course
yeah,
the cheating it took over him. He couldn't say yes because he
yeah.
really fears that he just not going to be able to hold himself back. But I give this season of Love Is Blind an A minus, and once again I'm excited for the reunion, and that's everything I watched.
I'm so excited for the reunion. I'll give the finale a B plus. Um, I will give Traders an A. And what else did I watch? A lot of Bravo this week. Was just catching up on a lot of Bravo. So Miami reunion part 3, which is the last one. I know I sound like a broken record when I talk about these ladies, but they just crack me up so much. And Adriana whipping out her like Bible and reading a Bible passage at one point was absolutely hilarious. They just even when like Andy was trying to say the goodbyes, like, oh, we're wrapping it up, farewell, like let's bring out the tequila. They're throwing accusations at each other. The end scene of Julia and her opera partners coming out and singing. They're saying Ave Maria. And then Ave Maria turns into like this, it's like an Ave Maria club remix. I'm like, I need to get my hands on this remix. It's incredible. It's like, Ave Maria. It was hysterical. I give Miami that a B plus. Beverly Hills Part Two. Nah, I'm just waiting for Part Three. They always drag it out to Part Three, so that I'll give like a C plus. And Summer House, I will give a B
Oh, I
plus.
watched Summer House too. I'll give that a
Um,
B plus as
yeah,
well.
yeah. I'm really liking this season of Summer House. I'm not gonna lie.
Me too.
Obviously, there is a lot of the Carl and Lindsay drama that's going on, and we're seeing how these two are interacting. But the new additions are great. Um, like having like a the Sierra and Wes dating little storyline going on. Love that. So I'm very into Summer House right now. I'm loving that. And I did watch Poor Things. I know I've talked about it multiple times already, but I did technically watch it in this past week window. I'll give Poor Things a B plus. It is a great movie. Um, from the artistic standpoint of movies, very well made. She is fantastic. I think Mark Ruffalo is fantastic. William Dafoe, fantastic. Like she's so good. But it's weird. It's a little funky. It's a little different. It's just like the way that Yorgos Lanthimos makes his movies. So I'm sure it's not for everybody. Like some people like really, really fucking love it. They were like, that movie was amazing. It took me, the first 30 minutes I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was really, really good. And like I said, Emma's performance is fantastic. So I think that's pretty much. Oh, I did watch. Sorry, I'm dragging on now, but this is the last thing. I started the new season of Full Swing on Netflix. I really enjoyed Full Swing. I do love like watching the golf world. I think the whole PGA Tour live golf thing, it's all very interesting. And seeing the behind the scenes of all that is very interesting and how that went down. So I've watched the first 3 episodes of that. I'll give that a B plus. I really like Full Swing. I think it's very entertaining. So okay, that is everything I watched.
All right. I watched Love is Blind season finale as well. Yeah, I was bored. I was bored.
Yeah,
Um,
the finales,
Classic.
unfortunately, the episode, they just go on. Like the finale could be 30 minutes long. It just doesn't need to be, just get to the chase.
Yeah.
yeah.
Or
And
cut the
nothing
chase. Get to the
nothing
point.
really surprised me. It's like, oh, Clay, like that's not really that surprising. It is funny just to watch like Jimmy and Chelsea. Like Jimmy's just what a guy. But yeah, I'll give
Well, it's just
that.
insane to hear that conversation and then like see them out still
Right. It
together.
just doesn't
You're like,
Yeah.
really make
what?
sense.
Yeah, we just need the reunion. We need like to fill in the missing pieces.
Yeah, I'll give that a B minus, but I was really not that locked in. I watched the last 2 episodes that came out of the Patriots Dynasty on Apple TV. Um, Same thing as I said last week for these 2 episodes, where it's like kind of continuing on of like, well, there was some good in this because I think they showed the Seahawks win, but there was a lot of like the Deflategate now, like there's a lot of like
Yeah.
bad stuff that we're rehashing, but it's still like
Right.
done so well. Like I was talking to my brother. I'm like, no, I feel like no one is talking about this. Like when The Last Dance came out for Michael Jordan, it was like everyone was talking about it. Maybe it was because it was in COVID.
Hmm.
Everyone was like, oh, this is the greatest documentary ever. Like blah blah. This is better. Like I think this is better. Like the way the production
I don't
value.
know.
Like
I just think it's like
I mean, yeah, like I have
not
bias,
not like too soon, but there's a lot of bias where there's more just like people really don't like I don't care to watch anything about the Patriots dynasty. I'll watch a documentary about
but
Michael Jordan, but
But it's also like
like
it's not like the Patriots made this like about themselves and it's all just like we're so great. Like the last 4 episodes have been like a lot
yeah,
of like
I don't know
bad
what to
stuff.
I don't know what to tell you. I think people just hate the Patriots. Like that's that at the end of the
Yeah,
day, like they're
that's the
like,
thing.
oh,
That's
Patriots,
why.
I don't want to watch that.
Well, I highly recommend it. Just production value alone is incredible. They did use, which I didn't know. I didn't realize that this was like a new drop Taylor Swift song, but I saw Gia and Kelly talking about it. That her "Look What You Made Me Do" version, they used it in one of these episodes for the Patriots, and that was like the release of it. Like that's how she dropped this new. song, which I thought is
Oh,
funny that
because
she like
it's Reputation,
yeah,
Taylor's
Reputation, like
version.
that was like the
Yeah, yeah.
first drop of it, which is just funny that that's what she chose to use it in. But it definitely worked. I did because I think someone teed it up. They're like look what you made us do, and then like the song started playing. And I'm like, are they? They're playing a Taylor Swift song. It was funny, but it was good. Um, I watched. Yeah, I'll give that an A minus. The last two. I watched American Fiction. I finally watched that. Great movie. Great movie. Definitely. When I watched the trailer, I'm like, oh, this is funnier than I thought it would be. Um, but yeah, it was a solid movie.
Was
I'll give
it
it.
was the movie funny?
It was funny. It was like it was. I think
Yeah.
it was funny, but like a lot of the plot and like whole point of the movie was like kind of making fun of more serious things, but they did it
Mm.
in a funny way. I'll give it a B plus. Like I enjoyed it. Yeah. And then I watched Curb Enthusiasm last night, the newest episode. Um,
Oh, I didn't watch it.
did you watch that,
I
Rhea?
also watched, and
It
I
was
loved it. It was my
so
favorite
fucking funny.
episode.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
was this was my favorite
it
one
Oh,
so
was
oh,
far.
now
really
I'm so
funny.
excited to watch it now.
Wait,
Yes.
Like,
I don't want to spoil it, but like
y-
Yeah, don't.
I'm sorry to cut you off, Noah. I just want to say huge props to Lori Loughlin.
yes, yes.
Like
Like,
Oh, I saw a headline about this. Okay.
yeah.
just
But
like
like, yes, I when she first when like because they said her name before she was like a. I'm
Don't
not
spoil too
spoiling
much.
anything. I'm saying they said her name before like I saw her. So and at this point I didn't know like she was gonna be in it. But when they said her name, I was like, is she like is she gonna play herself in the show? Like and then she did, and it was very funny. But there was like a lot of I love Susie. Like she might be my favorite
oh
character
yeah,
of
Oh,
Susie's the
all
Susie's
time,
best.
awesome.
like of like ever in TV. Like she is just so funny. Um, but yeah, I'll give that an A, honestly. Like that was just I was laughing like so much, and yeah, that was definitely my favorite of this season so far. Um, but yeah, that's all I
No,
watched.
that just reminded me. Did you watch any more of Shogun?
No, well, I started it, but I haven't like I didn't. I feels like I didn't watch enough of. I didn't finish the episode, so I'm like I'm not gonna put it on here.
I forgot. Joe and I watched the first episode of that also.
Oh, really?
Really,
It really
really
is,
good.
but it's one of those
I
shows where
thought that
like
first episode was so good.
it is.
Like I give
But
that I give that first episode an A minus. Like I was
yeah,
locked in.
I think that's what
Like
I
it's
gave
just
it.
like it's just like a very fascinating, different like
Yeah. It is
thing
one of
for a
those
show
shows
that
where you have
I
to
haven't
be like
seen
really
in a
locked
long
in,
time.
obviously just because like a lot of it isn't in English. So like and like if I'm checking
Oh
my
yeah,
phone, like and I look up after 5 minutes, I'm like lost. So that's why I can't really rate
yeah,
it
no,
because
yeah,
this
yeah.
last episode I have to restart it because I didn't I also want to
No, that's it's a no phone show for sure.
yeah, I also started the new show on Netflix, The Gentleman, but I didn't really finish. I'm only like halfway through the first episode, but I love that movie and I love all Guy Ritchie stuff. So,
I know, I do
but it's
too.
good.
I'm
It's
excited to watch that.
yeah,
I
that's
love that
good.
movie. That's a great movie.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all I watched.
Great.
All right, that's everything we watched this week. All right, that wraps up today's episode of Chicks in the Office. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Atlanta tickets are still on sale, so you can go buy those. Thank you to everybody who's coming to our shows and listening to this show. We love you guys, and we will talk to you on Wednesday.